I'm back. The ordinary man with the microphone. The most responsible thing for society right now, and there is a pushback. The most responsible thing for society right now is to quit lying to women and think about the problems. Childcare is expensive. Both parents have to work. Well, both parents have to work because the childcare is so expensive. So it makes total sense to just stay home. One of you stay home. It's best if the woman stays home, but become wives and mothers again. That's what it basically is. Society, if we want to curb some of the pain of the transition of a lot of job loss coming, we need to quit telling women to go to college. That's one. If you want to be a boss babe or whatever, cool, but that doesn't align with most women. Most women are followers. You already see this, how they're all aligned with the left. There's no independent thoughts. There's no long-term thinking. Just complete conformity. If I had a daughter that was my son's age right now, I would have already told her though. I would have already told her when she was like 16. I would have said, "Hey, listen. Do you want kids or do you want to try to be an independent woman? If you want kids, it's probably best to find a nice, stable man. He might be a little bit boring. Okay. So, is he stable? Is he going to be a good father figure to your kids? The same thing on the other side. Hey, listen. You're trying to get the hottest girl, right? Trying to get the hottest woman. Is that really a long-term thing you can sustain? I mean, they're pretty expensive. They demand a lot of work, a lot of attention, and it's just like it's not really worth it. Not really worth it. So it's basically, we need to tell people that they need to become more humble. Not expect more, but be fine with less. Be fine with genuine relationships. A lot of women, their relationships are basically post a selfie of, a provocative picture of themselves. And then they get all the likes. So the relationship is with notifications. They don't care about the guys, especially like these boomers. They don't care about what they say. It baffles me that these guys still do this, where they're like, "You're beautiful, I'll marry you," blah 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 blah. Like, she's just gonna get in your DMs. Like, how has that ever worked? I think that's a genuine question for people. Has that ever worked? Because when I figured this out back in 2016, 15, when I was on the little Facebook, I remember, and I seen a girl post a picture, a young woman. I don't remember which one. Anyway, and then I'm like, I'm about to do something like that, right? Little simping. Oh, you're beautiful, you're gorgeous. And then I noticed other guys doing the exact same thing. And then I thought to my head, she's not posting this to really get attention. She's posting this to get attention from one guy. And it's not anybody in the comments. And in fact, that one guy probably isn't even really paying attention to her posting that much when all of us are, oh my gosh. And at that time, I realized I didn't need to do that anymore, and it was pointless. And to see 11 years later, men are still doing this is just, like I said, it's mostly boomers, but has that ever happened? A decent looking woman, a hot woman, gets in your DMs and is like, man, hey, let's meet up. Hey, let's go on a date. Does that ever happen? I'm sure it has happened. But the likelihood of that happening, unless you're giving something like money, highly unlikely. Especially if you're not even like, if you're old like me. These guys are usually older than me, to be honest, but you're in some 21-year-old's comments and you're like, oh, and you're like, you look like you're 60. Yeah, it's just like it's weird, man. It's weird. Oh my God, you're so beautiful. You can't, there's no self-control. You know, you could sit there and be like, yeah, cool. Like, I appreciate that. But like, understand that that's not going to do anything. And I mean, you might as well just go somewhere where prostitution is legal and pay for it. But here's the thing. AI is going to replace a lot of office jobs. You're going to see a lot of mid-managers. They're pretty much pointless right now. You're going to have somebody else using AI in the office that totally replaces their job. Can do what they can do more efficiently, quicker, a lot quicker. And these companies are going to realize, like, why am I paying this guy $85,000 when I can just give this other guy that's using AI a $20,000 raise, a year raise? This one person can do like 3 or 4 jobs just using AI. Now this one person gets paid, like, instead of like 85,000 like everybody else, now he's getting paid close to 300,000 because he's doing all of these different jobs himself. And the fact that women are basically not learning AI besides, hey, go on Twitter, hey, put me in a bikini. They're lagging behind. There'll be less competition for jobs if women actually go back to their traditional roles. So we're going to have less jobs. And like I said in my video, the video is 100 body count to incel. They're going to want to hire guys to dig ditches. They're going to want to hire guys to do this dirty work. And quite frankly, most feminine women, whether they want to admit it or not, because if, like, they're still doing their makeup, even if they are like almost feminist, they still put on that persona of a strong woman. Are they coming out here with no makeup? They still care about their fashion. They still care about their nails. Do you want to come home dirty? Do you want to come home smelling like shit? Or do you want to just start learning how to bake, start learning how to cook, clean the damn house, take care of your kids? It baffles me that a lot of women, not all women, and some have to work. They would rather, as soon as their kid is born, go go right back to work and have somebody else take care of the kid for them. That baby was literally forming in your belly. Like, that baby was a part of you. They had to cut that baby away from you. And you automatically want to go back to the office instead of staying home with your own surroundings, with your child, and raise your kid and get validation from your stable husband who's a good father, instead of like, I'm gonna go for the, oh, I'm a dog, I'm a home slice, yo dog, yo, I'll get all the bitches. Like, that's what you want? That's what you want to have a child with? Your priorities are all fucked. And if you want to date oh, what's up, dog, go ahead. But I wouldn't have kids with them. Not only are these feminine women gonna have to fight for these jobs, be highly competitive with other men with these jobs, but they're gonna have to do it with lesbians as well. Lesbians are way more suited to do these physical jobs, dirty jobs, than feminine women. It's like they think that whatever is going on right now is going to continue to last forever. And instead of relying on your husband to take care of you, you're relying on a lot of different men to fund you. And that can be taken away at any time. They can lose interest in you and go to another woman anytime. And most women on OnlyFans, they aren't that successful. It's a rare thing to be a Sophia Rain or what is that, bad baby, bad Barbie, whatever she calls herself, or any other OnlyFans. I don't know. I don't use it. I just ask AI, like, hey, which are the most popular ones? Most women don't do well, and they're barely making it. Some of them expose themselves for the world for a couple $100 a month, if that. That's most of them. So you're choosing that over finding a good man that's going to give you your validation, appreciate you. I'm sure, especially nowadays, if you show up properly. But they still think that they're above us. They don't see where things are headed. There's no long-term vision at all. They don't see that they're going to be left behind. Most women can't out-compete me. If I really try hard, you're not going to out-compete me. And that's most of us. You're just not. We're built differently, man. We're not the same. And society has been doing a really disservice to women by lying to them. Whether it's through movies, you see these women who probably watch Wonder Woman or any of these other strong women in movies, and they think that translates to reality. You also have the institutions lying to them as well. They're setting them up for complete failure, complete collapse. Another thing too is, like, you're also going to compete with AI. At some point, they're going to make AI FaceTime. So you're going to be able to create your AI girlfriend or whatever. And you're not going to need them anymore. Do you know how hard it is for them to do that? Let's just say they try to. And some of them might do good with like rich men, but most of them, they can't compete with that, because they'll have to dedicate that time for that one individual. When AI just can, you know what I mean? Like, there's only so much time. AI has infinite time. AI can talk to a lot of different people at the same time and impose different things. You can tell AI to be this and this and this, program it to be whatever personality. There's chatbots. This is what, was a Botify. Look at Botify. Mess around with that. You can put a picture in there, put a different personality in there, and that's how it's going to be. It's not going to be able to compete. Do we have that technology right now? No. But when you see the development of AI images and chatbots, and you combine them, somebody's going to combine them, and you're going to have FaceTime AI. You're going to be able to talk to AI anytime you want. The AI is going to be like, it's going to look realistic. It's going to be able, you're going to be like, hey, go here. Hey, let me see your back. You know what I mean? It might even look like yours. You might be able to take like go to each room or whatever, and it can just look like you're in the same room, like you're sitting here next to it. And it's looking like you see the background right there, but you just use your phone and you're talking to it and it's talking back or whatever. If you think that technology can't be made very quickly, I don't know what to tell you. I would be very concerned if I was a woman right now that doesn't have a good man that's her husband. I would be concerned. You better save your resources, not spend on a bunch of garbage. Like these expensive apartments. Everything's expensive, I know, but some of these apartments, like, they spend like $10,000 a month. Some of these places. That's not gonna happen soon. There's no way that what we're doing right now is sustainable. No way. And there's going to be disruptions. And I don't think we're going to have a complete societal collapse. I just think that certain industries are going to collapse for sure. Probably going to be more condensed and concentrated, which it should go. It would be better if it went the opposite, but I don't think it's going to go the opposite. So you'll see, like I was saying earlier video, Nike rose up and actually bought Converse when Converse was the big dog. You're going to see a lot of these fast food chains. This will probably be the first thing you're going to see them start consolidating. Some of them are going to start going out of business because they're not getting the traffic. Whether people are trying to be healthy or they can't afford it no more, and they're thinking, man, I'll just order takeout from this restaurant for a couple extra bucks, and then I'll throw them a $1 or $2 tip. I'm getting better food. I get more food. I guess you can get deals if you do like I've never done Uber Eats. I've never once done that. But you're going to start seeing these fast food places consolidate and merge. I remember like when I seen like KFC / Pizza Hut and stuff like that, where you can go in there into one building and order. You're going to see stuff like that. However, it's going to be robots making your food. Which, do you want somebody making your food that hates their life, that don't get paid enough to survive, that's miserable? Whether people want to admit it or not, like that, there's so much a demand for fast food that it actually turned into a real job. That's why the wages are creeping up to whatever I'm making. I do real work. The job I have right now, like, they don't just let anybody in there. I had to have a little bit of different skills. You know, I went in for my interview. I didn't even expect I was going to get this job. I think I drove 14 hours straight from Michigan to wherever I'm at. And I went in there. I got in at like 2:30 in the morning. And then I had an interview for 8 o'clock in the morning. And the day before, I just got a random email that asked me for and I'm like, okay, whatever. I guess I'll go in. And then part of me was like, I'm not going to go in. But I went in. And I went in with sweats. And I actually told him my story and everything. And I did really well. This guy asked me different things. And I started like, I've never done anything that I'm doing now before. But I started taking different skills that I've done before and kind of like lined them up a little bit. And like, hey, look. I've kind of done something like this before, and I kind of like explain, and guess what? I got the job on the spot. Dude, that's probably the second job that I've gotten right on the spot. But I had different skills. I don't know where I'm going with that, but there was a reason why I went into talking about my narcissistic self. It's just an example. That's all it really is. Whatever, I forget. I forgot where I was going with that, but I think that we will see a resurgence of women putting their families first again. Instead of just saying it, they actually are. And they will value men again. I really think that they will. Because I think they're going to be forced to economically again. They're just not going to be able to compete with us in the job force. They're just not. The reason why men, Gen Z men, don't want to work, you want to know why? It's because sex is a huge motivator. Relationships aren't all about sex, but we need it. If you what would happen? Let's just say we're right here. What would happen if the government decided to ban porn right now? What would happen? How do you think that men would react? How do you think women would react? What if not only they ban porn, but there's no more provocative images allowed on the internet? So men don't get that stimulation. They don't get that anymore. What is going to happen? In my opinion, we'll get violent. That's what I think will happen. The pornography, along with weed, it kind of like dulls us, right? It kind of dulls us. And I'm not a person that's like, oh, I hate weed. No, I'm not saying anything like that, but it calms us down. But if we don't have that outlets anymore, what do you think's gonna happen? We're just going to continue. So what I'm saying is, a lot of men aren't acting out in anger because they have that stimulant. Don't know where I'm going with that again. It's such a unsustaining path that we're on so many different levels. Financially, like, people just think that they deserve way more than they actually deserve. There's no humbleness. There's no, I'm grateful for what I have. Even though I complain on here, I'm highly grateful for what I have. Are you kidding me? Is my life hard? You know, I went on to Grok and I asked, rate what I've been through compared to the average person. The hardships I've been through. And basically the hardships I've been through it said, I didn't say, I felt like this, but it's been way more than the average person. Now, it's not been like, oh, I see my parents die in front of me or something, like extreme. It's mostly like a cut by death by 1,000 cuts. All the combination and continuous struggle and even self-sabotage. When I actually come out with my memoir, I think that if people actually read it, especially Gen Z, they're going to connect heavily with it. They're going to relate. And because I feel like I have gone through and am continuing to go through what they are going through. I felt a scarcity of women when I was younger. I felt like they didn't care about me. They looked down on me. They didn't see my value. I think that we will see a resurgence in women becoming conservative. Why? Well, Gen Z men are. And they will naturally follow. Or I don't know, the homeless, like, I don't know what to tell you. And a lot of guys aren't going to accept some of these women back. A lot of guys are just going to wait. They're just going to be like, okay, you got kids with multiple men and you're all tattooed up and you're kind of chubby and you have all this stuff on the internet. All, you know, I'm good. You know, a stripper can move to another town, move to another state. No one would know she was a stripper. But the fact that these women have put themselves all over the internet, and yeah, they can like have their accounts deleted, but you don't know who else has been screenshotting, taking their content. Like, it's not going to be all gone. You don't know if it's going to pop up later on. I had a circumstance with a woman that I was in a relationship with before, and I didn't know she was basically on the internet like that. And when it popped up, it was embarrassing as fuck, man. Everyone at work found out, and I was so embarrassed. They don't understand the damage that they're doing to themselves. Now, I'm not saying that, like, all women have to be, you know, be wives. I think I think they're going against nature right now. I think that's what they're doing. They're fighting nature. They're fighting with a purpose. Is that life boring? Possibly, but you know what? You live in the fast lane, it can only last so long. Eventually, we all slow down, we all get older. Life becomes repetitive and boring. You start appreciating things a little bit differently than when you were younger. You might appreciate a beautiful day more than when you were younger. Appreciate your relationships, people in your life. And it's... My thing is with the internet and everything like that is we just have to have balance. Have balance. Be in the real world, and you can enjoy the internet just like, watching TV, watching a movie. Some content creators are saying that the doom scrolling or the constant scrolling is kind of going extinct, or like they can see it going extinct. And I think like the whole like swiping constantly, I honestly think that people will probably get tired of that, and they'll want to chill out more. They're saying like content like this is going to be popular on YouTube in the future. Possibly. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I see some people that do this unedited. I've been doing this as my whole channel. You can see I go back. You never see any jump cuts. I've been doing this since day one. And if you go way back, you go way back. You know what pisses me off about like Facebook and YouTube is you need to put things by the year, man. Like, it's, you know how long it takes to scroll back with my 800 videos on here, my 1,000 whatever it is, to go back to my first videos? It takes forever. Same if you have like a Facebook or whatever. You know how long it takes to go back? It's just go by the year. Group everything by the year. I can't believe they don't do this. So I can just go, okay. Instead of sitting here for like 5 minutes doing this, waiting for it to load, blah, blah, blah. Okay, swipe. It takes forever to go back to. And now my first videos are me basically doing karaoke with Rock Band. One of my videos was analysis of LeBron James, when that's how far back, completely unedited. He was thinking about going to the Knicks or the Heat or staying with the Cavs, and I went on there and I had my paper and I had my points. So it was somewhat scripted, but it was, most of my content, you could tell, is just off the top of my head. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. I'm sure if you're listening, you know. I forget, man. I forget it. That's one of my Achilles' heels, is to forget. You know what it is? I get ultra aware. I think that women are going to be affected the worst coming. I'm not saying that we all aren't. And are the elites preparing for a societal collapse? That's why they haven't really fixed the infrastructure. They're building bunkers. Like, I don't think that that's a sustainable thing. I really don't. And I think like they already have enough power, enough resources. If they want to pull the plug, they can go ahead, pull the plug anytime they want. But they haven't. What are they waiting for? I think the future is going to be more conservative. I think that people will value human life more. They're not just gonna hook up anymore. They're gonna actually value relationships. They're not just gonna give themselves out to everybody anymore. I think that men hopefully learn from the past. Please learn from the past. Please learn from the past. Please don't go back into the cycle of either hookup culture or like the manosphere. Like, that's their prescription right now, is just hook up with as many women as you possibly can, because they have a nihilistic mindset. Looks max, do all these things. It's just like, dude, what am I gonna do? Like, look at me right now. What good did that do for me? I've been single for 10 years. Basically. And this last, like, I'm not going to go into my personal relationship out of respect for somebody else, but basically the last, since 2003, when I initially left where I'm at, I haven't been dating or had a desire. I of course, but I used to want to meet women as quick as possible. I would see them on the internet. I would send them a message. They would send something back. And I really wanted to meet them in person as quick as possible. I wanted to see if there was anything there, if it was worth it. And I went for the coffee date. Now, why did I go for the coffee date? Because if she doesn't like me, she can leave. We don't have to sit here and wait for the waiter, you know. And it's like, we're not going to go to right to a movie, not to get, you know, it's just, I lost that. I don't think that my testosterone has really, like, people, oh, you're testosterone. I don't think it really has been affected that much. I still have a desire to want to be the best version of myself, but I'm sitting here like, why? What woman really deserves that? Like, women's mindset is basically they already want to have the ivory towers built for them, and then they just come in and basically do whatever the hell they want. I'm a cuck. They can sleep with whoever they want. I have to be cool with that. No, not at all. I don't want you talking to any other men at all. One of my friends, the one that I helped get off the internet, and as far as, you know, I don't want to go into her I told her that I intentionally don't talk to her much because she's married. You know, every now and then I'll send her a message. And I told her I intentionally stay away because there's no reason that me and you need to talk every single day. I think that's disrespectful to her husband. That's what I think. Do I care about her? Yes, I do. But you have to respect the relationship. You have to. I'm a man. If I was in his position and a man like me was talking to my wife every day, and I would be pissed. Are you in a relationship with him, or are you in a relationship with me? Yeah, I understand. Friend zone, whatever. Why are you talking to him? What is he saying that you feel like you need to talk to him every day? I know how guys think. I know how they think. Even best friends will screw over best friends for a piece of pussy. It happens. I don't want my woman talking to any, like, even family, like, I have I don't want to go too deep to the people, and even people in my personal life, I will intentionally stay away from talking to their woman, like, intentionally. Why? It's complete respect for the guy. I don't need to. Like, hi, how you doing? But that's it. Why do you need to have a relationship with this man? It's like, why? I honestly think, I was watching A League of Our Own. I've watched this movie multiple times when I was younger. I just recently watched it. And it's kind of a feminist movie. But there's something that was really cool off of that movie that I think that we need to bring back. And it's basically etiquette class for women. It shows women how to be proper, be classy. I think that it's like self-respect. I couldn't imagine being a kid, going to school, and then like the kids finding out your mom's on OnlyFans, or your mom's posting these seductive pictures on the internet. That would be embarrassing to me. Back in the 90s, TLC created a song called Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls. And that's what we're doing right now as a society overall, is people are going and chasing waterfalls, right? Especially women. They might get attention from some guy that's a prominent figure, a popular person, an athlete, whatever. And then, they meet up and then do their thing, their physical thing, and he never talks to her again. But she has that mindset now that I can get a relationship with this. But it's not. It's not. These guys that are prominent figures, popular people, you are going to share. You're not going to lock him down. And if you do lock him down, chances are at some point you're going to run the relationship and not be happy. I would like to see women get out of our men's spaces. I'm seeing more and more women that are football fans, and they can do that, but it's like, why can't you just go be a woman, man? It's so bad that these guys that are trans are doing a better job of being feminine than actual women. It's crazy. There's no, you know what it is because they're being forced into male roles. They're basically the man of their life, whether they know it or not. And a lot of it stems from weak father figures or no father figure. So they're forced into their masculine. Also, you got the institutions, like I said, and the mainstream media pushing this shit. It needs to have a disclaimer, yeah, you can do this. You can be an Amelia Earhart for sure. But most of you aren't going to want to. That's an outlier. That's a rarity. Joan of Arc is a rarity. You can't do everything that we do. Not to the level we do it. And that's the realization that most women need to come to. It's not even like... It's just like, have some respect, have some class. Quit listening to your single friend. And the families are at fault too. Where are the families? Why aren't they helping? Why aren't they saying, like, this isn't the goodest, this isn't the greatest guy you should be with. Like, you can do better. Like, this isn't really good for long term. And they end up being single moms. We see this in different communities. It's just completely unsustainable. And it's crazy that a lot of women think that this is going to be sustained. Like, how long do you think this is going to last? I don't know what the future is going to hold, what the transition is going to hold. If I may even make it to the utopia, maybe I end up in a social collapse and I'm dead. Maybe I am. I don't know. I hope to make it to the utopia. I'm not going to take myself out. I'm going to try to survive like I've done and adapt like I've always done in my life. But there's going to be some turbulence, and I think that the cities are going to be the prime places for... I've made a video, man. I've shown a video. I've made a video of, like, you see infrastructure collapsing, men going away from these cities, going away from these blue states. Stuff's piling up. Like, the little TikTok I made basically showed different scenarios. You know, empty shelves, toilet backed all the way up, trash piled up on the side of the road. Because you're gonna have men that just go somewhere else. Because it's just not sustainable. I think that the small towns will probably, if we're smart, we'll start rebuilding some of these small towns that have been left behind. I think that we're going to see these cities kind of, some of them are going to turn into ghost cities. You will see sports go digital. You like these guys are making too much money. You know, when you're paying a quarterback or somebody on the field $70 million a year, and it's a high probability that they could get hurt really bad, that is not sustainable. You look at the NBA, you know, the load management, like, you can see the writing on the wall. You know, I'm saying, like, basketball is not going to go away, like physical basketball. But I think the popularity of the NBA is going to start going down. Same with the NFL. I'm already seeing people complain about it. Oh, the defense can't do anything. Blah blah blah. You can't hit nobody no more. Well, guess what you can do on the game? I think that we're going to see some of these leagues collapse. And as well as these cities. I would say get out of the cities and try to go to a more rural place. And you need to assimilate to the people that you're around. Don't bring your beliefs, your feminism, your progressive beliefs. No, get in line. Adapt to your surroundings. Understand the beliefs that you had didn't work for you. So you had to move out of that situation because it was unsustainable. So don't be bringing it to the new place that you're at. Be thankful that you have somewhere to go, a safe haven to go, because at some point there's not going to be any safe havens to go to. I don't know, I could be wrong. It could be the opposite. And history has shown that these small towns have been affected from abandonment of the factories. But I think the tariffs bring back work for us, and we're going to need it. We're going to need these jobs. We can't keep outsourcing our work. Whether we like it or not, technology is going to keep advancing. And we need to have communities created for people to go to. UBI is not going to work on a massive scale. It'll work in different... Even AI was agreeing with me that UBI will be in strategic areas that it could work, but not on the massive scale. I do think that you will have indentured servitude to some extent in different places. You know, somebody I was working with before, and they're like, I can have an accident and get a limb chopped off and get $1 million, and I'm like, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. That you want all your limbs. You want to be able to work. You want to be able to go and do farm work if you have to. Whatever they need you to do, man. So you can eat. It could get that bad. I don't know. I do think that they probably will. We probably will abandon different places, different cities, like I said. And it is quite possible that it gets rebuilt and is beautiful again. I just look at these cities and I see they're dilapidated, and it's sad. It's sad to see these structures that were once beautiful, and these areas that probably look like suburbs nowadays in these cities with the residential areas. You go in Detroit, it looks like a fucking war zone. Looks like a third world country. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. But I definitely think that men are better prepared for what's coming than women are. And the women who refuse to go back to their traditional roles, which we will need, of supporting us, being with us for thick and thin. Now, I'm not saying dealing with somebody that beats you or cheats on you or does drugs. I'm saying things aren't the greatest, but we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it work. This is a movie. I like to use some movie analogies. I know it's not real life, but it does translate. The first Rocky, or the second one. Yeah, it was the second one. He was giving up boxing, and his pregnant wife ended up having to go back to the pet shop. They were kind of in a recession, so he wasn't getting work like he needed. He wasn't doing really good in the advertisement, and so he pretty much abandoned that and the boxing. And that's what we need, is be our support system. Be our cheerleader. I want to become the best version of myself for somebody who's cheering me on. I want to create awesome things. I want to work hard as I possibly can for somebody cheering me on. Nobody's cheering me on. So I'm like, what do I care about my body? I'm not getting laid anyway. Fuck do I care? And we're honestly getting to a point where you have to pay for it. We kind of are. I mean, guys are already doing it. It's just they're not doing it in person. They're doing it with OnlyFans. Like, I'm kind of already there. The way that, and we know the way that guys have to use OnlyFans is because they are feeling like they have some type of relationship. And it's crazy that these guys still think that they're not talking to AI or probably another guy. Like, if I was going to do that, you're going to talk to me face to face. We're going to FaceTime. At the very least. But, yeah, it's just... You're fine with just texting? Well, just get a bot. Just get a bot. It's crazy to me. Guys are still giving all this money to them. I don't know. Maybe I'm just wrong about everything, and we're gonna keep doing this, and everything's gonna be all right. But I am seeing a lot of people who talk about some of the stuff I talk about. You know, I appreciate a lot of things in my life. I didn't get into everything, but I appreciate my health. I appreciate my kids' health, my family's health. I appreciate having a roof over my head. You know, I showed you the basement I'm living in. I'm living in a basement. But I rent the whole house. I rent the whole house. So at this time, as I'm paying rent, this is my basement. But I appreciate this. I feel like my life is better. Not in every way, but I want to change it to make it better than it was a year ago, living in that apartment I was living in. And not having, obviously, any type of furniture. I appreciate that things feel like they are getting a little bit better for me. I appreciate, my car working. Not having, hopefully, any problems with it in the next, hopefully that doesn't happen. But for right now, it is working great. It is working fine, how it's supposed to. I appreciate having a job. And to be honest, the job I have right now, if I didn't live an hour away, I wouldn't mind doing it. Even working the night shift. I mean, I can't see myself doing it long term, but I could do it for another 3 years or something. But it's that commute that I can't keep doing. 14-hour days. I can't keep doing that, man. I can do 14-hour days work, but I need to live right by where I'm working if I'm going to do that. If I'm going to work 12 hours, I need to work by where I'm living. But also I appreciate the fact that I'm not really into sweets anymore, and my palate is changing. And then maybe I could start wanting more healthy food for myself. It's not about having the best physique. It's about being healthy. It really is. I appreciate having power. I appreciate a nice hot shower. I appreciate nice clean clothes. I appreciate running water. I appreciate the internet, even though it does piss me off. at times. I have a lot of appreciation, but there is also struggle too. And I feel it because it is hard. I went to the grocery store yesterday and I spent almost $200 on 6 bags of groceries. Energy is expensive. Gas prices is coming down, but nothing else is coming down. Yeah. There is gripes. I can't afford health insurance. Even if I could, does it do anything? I mean, I guess it protects my assets if something really bad happens. But I'm at the point where I don't even care about my assets. You guys want my assets? Like, you rich people? You need to have everything? You know, I guess you have everything and the board will be flipped. Monopoly. Everything's monopoly. You have all the assets and we have nothing. Then the board gets flipped. What does that mean? I hope that doesn't happen. But I've already talked about this. Anyway, this video is long enough. Yeah. This had a lot on my mind. I need to go in there and redo some of my memoir. Get it ready to publish it. Yeah. Well, you all take it easy and hopefully if things are tough for you, hopefully things are getting better. Unless you're like one of these radical leftists, like, you can go fuck yourself.